Scott from Sharkey's Floral and Greenhouses. Welcome back to our Live from the Greenhouse series. And today we are talking about planting up some containers. So this is something that we love to help our customers with. So you come into our greenhouses, catch one of us, and we will help you put some different combination planters together. It's kind of like this big mysterious, a lot of people have trouble with this. And again, don't make it a daunting task. Have fun with it, and we're here to help. And we have good employees. We know what we're talking about, so we can help you put some planters together. And we'll ask you some questions. What are you looking for? What kind of look? What do you have? Do you have partial sun? Do you have full sun? Where are we going to put this? So those are some different things that we'll ask you just to try to get us kind of situated or going in the right direction. You don't want to put things together that don't match. If I were planting up a red, white, and blue container, I'm looking for that red, white, and blue, and I've got, in this container, I've got red geraniums, and I've got red salvia, and I've got the blue lobelia. Well, and I need that white. Well, I wouldn't put white impatiens in there because impatiens need shade or partial shade, and so it would be a real mismatch. We're certainly going to put this container out in the full sun with the geraniums. So that's what we want you to think about, and that's when you come in and ask us. That's our job, is to help you. So when we're putting planters together, we want to start with those basic things. So we talked about soil a few days ago. Got to have good soil, right? And we're not going to get that at the big box retailers. So start with good soil, good quality plants. Again, don't be shopping at Walmart for your plants. The big box retailers, they don't know anything about growing them. Go find your local greenhouse, the guys and gals that are actually growing for a living. And we'd love you to come see us up in Crivets. We'll help you. We've got beautiful, good quality, homegrown plants and flowers right here. And then the next thing you want to do, so you got good soil, good plants, and the next is to find a container. What are you going to plant into? And it might just be a simple container. We do want to make sure that we have drainage from the bottom, because if we keep watering this and the water can't get out, if we overwater, this thing's going to be floating. There's going to be soup in there, and your plants will rot down and die. So we do have to make sure that you have some sort of drainage. Fill this whole thing up with soil. This is not a real big container, so we want this whole thing full of soil, but we do want to have some sort of drainage. Make sure that there's holes in here. You can get creative with your containers. Go shopping at a rummage sale or whatever. You can come up with old cans or barrels. Get creative with it. Just make sure that there is drainage at the bottom of whatever container that you have. So we've got our containers, and we just want to really show you how to put stuff together. So again, we want to make sure that we're putting like things in, and I'll grab this happy little moss teapot. These are fun. We have these, and I'm going to, let's say our scenario is we have a shaded area. You could put this on a table. Say if you have an overhang or a front porch area, and it's going to get shade. It's mostly shaded areas. So a good thing to have is the tuberous begonias. They can handle the shade. And just go ahead and pop it out. We've got nice root structure, good quality plant. Go ahead and pop that in. We like to kind of turn it to whichever way that you're going to be seeing it. And again, the impatiens, partial shade, so that complements. And we can go ahead and pop a few of these in. Now, depending on when you're planting, if it's real early spring, you make sure you give a little bit of room. All these flowers are going to grow. And I would go through in here and fill in with soil. I don't have any soil with me right now. But I would fill this up. I've got my one tuberous begonia. I got just a couple little accent plants, and we'll talk about different accent plants. So it could be these nice little flowering impatiens. It could be wax begonias. They can handle sun or shade. and fill this up, and it'll grow in and it'll fill in very nicely. Now let's say that you, oh my goodness, it's my daughter's graduation and I got to make my yard look incredible and it's next weekend. Well, then you're going to have to fill in your containers a lot more heavily because you want instant color. But if you pre-plan, you don't need to necessarily put in so many plants because they will grow, and you want to give them some room to fill in and fill in nicely. But you know, if you have a garden walk or a party or something like that and you need instant color, well then go ahead and fill in and give yourself an instant container. So we've got those. We have these little happy purses too. You know, there's not a lot of room in here, so I would probably take just maybe one of the tuberous begonias and stick it in here. This has a little plastic liner, and I make sure that I go through and I poke holes just so that it indeed can drain out. And you want to make sure that you have that. So containers, putting stuff together, I like to start with something higher in the back. That's just my preference. So this salvia is taller, and we kind of like work down in size. If you're going to be looking at this way, then go ahead and start here and work down. If you have a container that you're going to put out in the yard and you're going to see it from all angles, then put your high piece in the middle. You know, with a great big container like this, maybe I'll put my spike or whatever into the middle. Okay, so this, again, we're working from the back and working front because we're going to say that we're looking at it from the front. But if that wasn't the case, then go ahead and put the spike right dead center in the middle and then work around from that way. Your higher stuff, your geraniums, and then work down to your trailing, your lobelia, alyssum. We have this Lysimachia right here, that green trailing. This is a really nice, pretty, this just trails down. It fills in really nice, and it's actually, we don't sell it as a perennial, but a lot of times it will come back. It's very, very hardy. So again, work your way in height. I'm just going to highlight some of the things I do like to work with, and this is a tall salvia. This is a really cool, kind of like a burgundy or fuchsia color. Another really tall one. These are dahlias, and I've got a few dahlias here, but they get tall, and lots of flowers. These are all buds. This is all going to be color. So this is a nice one that gets kind of tall. Go ahead and either work around it or work down from it. And we have several colors of the dahlias. Fantastic plant. Cleome is a nice tall one. Has this kind of a smaller petite flower, and it has a nice smell to it. And let's see, this is another tall salvia. We talked about this yesterday. I love having these in my yard. This is just a salvia. This is a great one for the pollinators, the bees, the butterflies, the hummingbirds. They love this salvia. This is one from Proven Winners called Rockin' Playin' the Blues. Lasts a long time. Heliotrope. Heliotrope it smells wonderful. When you walk into our greenhouses, you get close to this, you can smell it. It's kind of like a vanilla aroma. So heliotrope is another one that we've carried for years and years, and it is very, very popular. This is Elegant Feather. This is a new one for us this year. This is just, it is what it is. It's just kind of like this elegant coming up, and it gets very tall. So you probably, depending on your container, depending on how high, you might have to kind of clip it and maybe keep it a little bit shorter. So it does get very tall. So another tall one that we have, and this is new for us, these are sunflowers. And you can see they're popping already. And it's more of a petite sunflower. It does get tall.
Really tall.
It gets very tall. So, it might not, maybe you'll get away with one in a big container, maybe. Okay, but you can see on this one, look at here. These are all going to be flowers. So this thing is going to be loaded with sunflowers. It's going to be really cool. I'm excited to see how this really turns out. So that's your taller stuff, and then working around the base of your container, and whether it's this trailing or the shorter. I love wax begonias, because wax begonias, it doesn't matter if they are in full sun or full shade, they'll just perform. So there's such an adaptable plant, and they're absolutely carefree. I love using wax begonias. Coleus is another nice one. You really have to look at the tags on the Coleus, because there's Coleus that can go in the sun, and there's Coleus that need to be in full shade. So you really need to look at the tag and read that description on there and see what it needs. But these are just those accent plants, and let me show you one more that's one of my favorites. This is Hypostices. Okay, say that 10 times really fast. So Hypostices, and it looks like a Coleus, but it's in a different family, and I love it. It's just so unique, and plugging in all over with this Hypostices, it gets pretty good size, about 10 inches or so, and it'll fill out nicely, but it just really has these really cool leaves. So just very, it really spruces up a container for you, but it's not a full sun. So these do need to go in the shade, so you have to be kind of aware of what you're mixing this in with. So it can go with the tuberous begonias, with the wax begonias, and the impatiens, and the shady type of stuff. And unfortunately not full sun. We have a big container here, and again, worked from the back forward. So this has the spike, the dahlia. Dahlia just gives a lot of color. And we also have citronella and the lantana. And again, the citronella helps with the mosquitoes, right? So if you want to put this on your deck or your porch, it helps get rid of mosquitoes or keep them away. Lantana is a flower that the critters, the deer, the chipmunks, or any critter that comes along and munches on your flowers, the bunnies, they don't like it. They stay away from lantana. So that's, again, we sell a lot of lantana to our customers that they have deer problems. So and that helps with that. And then we just have a trailing vine over that. So, and here's another, just a container idea. This is a clover leaf shaped container. It's just this compressed. It's almost like a thick cardboard. So, but these do last for several years. You'll get several years of use out of them, but they do biodegrade down after a while. And we have, these are the Easy Wave or Cool Wave pansies. So these pansies, they're really good performers. Usually pansies, if you plant them, they like that cooler weather. And so pansies in the summer will typically kind of go through this period of where they're not flowering as much. These Cool Waves, they flower all summer long, so that's really nice. And again, you don't need to fill this whole thing in if you're going to get started early. And so we just popped in 3 of these pansy plants, and they will fill in nicely. So just some ideas for you as far as your combo planters, and come into the greenhouse and ask us questions. We're here to help. We're glad to help, and we want you to be happy with your with all your containers. So we went into the different colors. If you have, I'm going with pink and white this year. That's something to think about when you come in. Pink and white, or red, white, and blue, or whatever. You might have a theme for your yard. The size, what kind of look you're looking for, as far as how big is this going to get? Am I going to be setting this and then I'm not even going to be able to see out my window? So that's another consideration with your planters. And then again, reiterating, make sure that your plants complement each other. That okay, I'm setting this up for, this is going to be in the full sun. We need plants that are going to be in full sun. And geraniums, they like the full sun. They like it a little bit drier. So that's another consideration of plants that that need a lot of water, and we know that geraniums don't like to have a lot of water. They don't like to have their feet wet, so we have to really be careful and consider what we're putting together. So again, that's why we're here to help, and we love to help our customers. So.
How do you pop them out? Should you ruffle the roots?
Good question. So it's no science to popping these, and most people would be just horrified if they saw me planting, because I just pop stuff in real quickly. Now, this is the Lysimachia, and I just pop this out and put it right into the container. Now, if you watch YouTube, and there's lots of so-called experts, and they would sit here for 20 minutes, ruffling all these roots and getting it ready. You know what? I just pop it right into my container, into the soil, and it's gonna root in because I have good soil in here. Going back to what we talked about with the good soil is, you have customers that come in and they can't figure out why their plants just have done nothing. And when I ask them, what kind of soil you're using, and they fess up to they bought the junky soil, and I can take and I can pull that plant right on out. It doesn't matter if it was planted 2 months ago. It never rooted in because the soil was bad, junky soil. And it's think of it, folks. If I took this plant and I have my container, and it's literally like the equivalent of packing peanuts, and I set it in there, of course it's not going to root in. There's no reason for it to root in. It will root in if you use good soil, and it'll make all the difference in the world. Soil that can contain that moisture and freely give that moisture back, and when you fertilize, that the fertilizer can actually get delivered to the roots. So that's why it's critical that we use good soil. So again, there's a lot of info on our beatyourneighbor.com website. Go ahead and put your email newsletter in. To put your email in so that you're part of our newsletter. We send out the newsletters, and there's a lot of tips and tricks that we include in that, and we always have the most current promo codes or deals on in that newsletter. But we talked about this the last couple days. With the fertilizer, you can go ahead on the beatyourneighbor.com website, and we have a promo code, FB Live, like Facebook Live, what we're doing. So FB LIVE, and we're giving 14% off on the fertilizer, and still has the free shipping. So make sure you plug in that promo code when you order. Make sure that promo code goes in before you check out. There's a little spot for the coupon code, and plug that FB LIVE FB Live promo code, and that takes your percentage off this. So join us again next week. We're gonna keep going. We've had so much good feedback, and we thank you for all the encouragement and the positive comments, and liking and sharing with your friends. Go ahead and tag somebody in here, and there's somebody that needs to know this information. Just go ahead and tag them in this, and you can always watch all the other. You don't have to watch us live, but you can always go back and just binge watch. It's like Netflix. So. I'm gonna watch Tiger King, and I'm gonna watch Sharkies and see how to grow some plants. So go ahead and watch the other videos. Share it with your friends. So thanks for joining us. We'll see ya. Take care.